Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media.
Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. Today's episode takes us to Ruby Ridge near Crandall Lakes in southwest Alberta, Canada. The Ruby Ridge Trail is a steep 1-mile scrambling climb, climbing 3,000 feet from 5,000 feet high to the ridge at 8,000 feet high. Once atop the viewpoint, visitors can look over a wilderness alpine valley with Ruby Lake glistening as the gemstone at the bottom. There aren't many places to go once you're on the ridge. If you have trouble up here, you are at least a 1-mile hike through a rigorous and demanding country before you reach another road. Ruby Lake is only 6 miles north of the United States-Canada border, and Grizzly Bear Bastion Glacier National Park abuts it to the south, if that gives you any perspective. The mountains here are high and rocky with alpine peaks of decomposed granite. In the valleys, forests of pine, fir, and spruce trees dominate with sporadic stands of quaking aspen and cottonwood here and there. Animals here include mule deer, moose, and elk, with mountain goats and bighorn sheep dancing along the cliffs and crags. The predators here include bobcats, black bears, coyotes, cougars, wolves, and grizzly bears. The tough thing about a grizzly bear, or any bear really, is their unpredictability. Just when you think you know where they'll be, they pop up in a place you didn't expect them. They are the ultimate free agents, and this agency allows them to be wherever their nose leads them, even if it leads them directly into the path of a person. On Tuesday, June 11th, 2024, 2 hikers, whom we'll refer to as Paula and Mike, wanted to take in the view of the valley around Ruby Lake. The best way to do that was to park at the trailhead and climb that steep route to the ridge. Just north of Waterton Lakes National Park, this trail offers a quiet and little-known route into primitive country, and seemed like what the couple was looking for. The climb is rated to take 2 hours on the entry route, according to alltrails.com, due to the difficulty of the climb. By early afternoon, the hikers were reaching the upper end of the timberline when they came face to face with a very large and unhappy grizzly bear. Now, these guys were not unprepared to venture into bear country, or at least as prepared as one can be. They brought along bear spray, but there was no mention of them bringing a firearm, so it is likely they didn't bring one on the hike. Upon seeing the hikers, the massive grizzly immediately charged toward them. As you can imagine, Paula and Mike scattered at the sound of the grizzly's roar and separated by instinct. The grizzly streaked across the steep hillside as if it were floating, and the hikers were powerless to avoid it. As Mike screamed in terror at the approach of the bear, it bit him repeatedly on his forearms and hands as he held them out to stop it. Its movements were so fast he had no way of anticipating where the bear would bite him next. Before it could bite him again, Mike could see it shift its focus in Paula's direction. Paula had watched the bear close in on Mike from only a few yards away, and done her best to get further away, but when you're trying to outrun a missile, all your efforts are futile. The grizzly closed in on Paula and gave her the same treatment as it had given Mike, biting her several times over her forearm and hands before the entire situation was flipped on the bear. Using the lag between his and Paula's attack, Mike managed to retrieve his bear spray. He hoped to high heaven that it would work and this grizzly would leave them alone. Flicking off the safety cap, Mike pressed the button, and the canister began emitting an orange, billowing cloud of irritant. As the cloud settled in around Paula and the grizzly, Mike watched as the bear began coughing and gagging. The irritant took only a few seconds to force the bear to reconsider the attack on the hikers. It backed up a few steps before disappearing around the slope. The hikers were left bloodied and in pain, with deep puncture wounds covering their forearms and hands. Fortunately, the bear spray had stopped the grizzly before it could maim either of them. They gathered themselves and after a few minutes began the hike out back to their vehicle at the trailhead. As they made their way down the trail, they reached out by cell phone to emergency services. After a short wait at the trailhead, they were taken to the hospital, where their wounds were sutured shut after being cleaned. They were both in stable condition shortly after being admitted to the hospital. Following Mike and Paula's grizzly bear attack, wildlife officers started a thorough search for the bear. They'd collected DNA samples from the saliva on the hiker's injuries, and preliminary results showed that the bear was a male. That excludes the protection of cubs as a potential cause for the attack. Speaking of cubs, our Cub Tier membership on Patreon, linked below, will give you ad-free early access to our episodes, and the $3 per month goes a long way in helping me continue to produce content like this. As with many forensic investigations, a recreation of the scene was completed to help investigators understand what happened and its causes. Investigators hiked into the attack site and found a cached bighorn sheep carcass while examining the evidence. The grizzly had laid up over the carcass to protect it after eating when the men walked up and interrupted its nap. It was determined that the bear acted in defense of its food cache, which is within typical bear behavior. The DNA evidence did reveal some additional information about the grizzly, though. In 2007, this bear was indexed as a denizen around Waterton Lakes as a part of bear studies ongoing in the area. The attack was the only incident with people this bear had been involved in. As of today, the search for the big grizzly boar is still ongoing, and the trail system around Crandall Lakes remains closed to visitors. Authorities haven't indicated what they will do with the bear once they locate it. It is safe to assume it will not be harmed given its lack of regular problem behavior. After reviewing the facts surrounding this episode, I'm left with a few questions for you. Given bear spray worked in deterring the grizzly, would a firearm have had the same effect as spray? Given there was very little time before the attack, what more could Mike and Paula have done to avoid this attack? Are you surprised to learn that grizzlies will climb into alpine areas to hunt bighorn sheep? I got to admit that surprised me a little bit. I will gladly read and reply to your thoughts, so please post them in the comment section below, and let's talk about it.
Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.